Leah's story can be found predominantly in the book of Genesis, chapters 29 through 49, and Jehovah's Witnesses view these accounts as authentic history, preserved in Scripture to teach us lessons about faith, endurance, and reliance on God. Background and family context. Leah was the oldest daughter of Laban, making her the older sister of Rachel. Both sisters feature prominently in the life of the patriarch Jacob, who would later be known as Israel. According to the biblical account, Jacob arrived in Paddan-aram and fell in love with Rachel, the younger sister, agreeing to serve Laban 7 years as a bride price before marrying her. However, on the wedding night, Laban performed a deception. Instead of Rachel, he gave Leah to Jacob. When morning came, Jacob realized he had married Leah, not Rachel. Genesis chapter 29 verses 21 to 25. Jehovah's Witnesses understand this narrative as an illustration that human beings often must deal with unexpected twists in life. It also underscores that favoritism and deception, hallmarks of Laban's character, can lead to deep family tensions. Physical description and emotional challenges. The Bible describes Leah's eyes as tender or delicate, Genesis chapter 29 verse 17. While some translations say weak, Jehovah's Witnesses, as reflected in their literature, typically refrain from dogmatic conclusions on Leah's appearance. Still, the key point is that Rachel was noted for her beauty, whereas Leah was less conspicuously attractive. This disparity set the stage for ongoing family tensions. Leah quickly perceived that Jacob's affection centered on Rachel. In fact, Genesis explicitly states that Jacob loved Rachel more than Leah, Genesis chapter 29 verses 30 to 31. Within the Witnesses' discussions and Bible-based articles, Leah's situation often serves as an example of someone who longed for love and acceptance, yet struggled in a family arrangement where emotional fulfillment was limited. Blessings through children. One of the prominent themes in Leah's life is that Jehovah God saw her plight and opened her womb. This divine compassion allowed Leah to bear several sons to Jacob: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun. She also bore a daughter, Dinah, Genesis chapter 29 verse 31-30 to 21. In Jehovah's Witness literature, Leah's fruitfulness is frequently highlighted as evidence that God cares for those who are disadvantaged. While not every aspect of ancient culture parallels our modern sensitivities, in Leah's time, motherhood was a vital source of honor and security. The fact that she had multiple sons, particularly Judah and Levi, who would become central to Israel's spiritual and governmental framework, demonstrated God's favor. Leah's sons have profound significance in the scriptural narrative. For instance, Judah's line would eventually produce King David and, most importantly, the promised Messiah, Jesus Christ. Matthew chapter 1 verses 2, 3, 16. Levi's descendants would provide Israel's priestly tribe. Thus, through Leah's offspring, Jehovah not only comforted her but also laid the groundwork for the spiritual and national structure of his people. According to witness teachings, this indicates that God's love and purposes often manifest in ways that surpass human preferences or outward appearances. Even though Jacob's heart leaned toward Rachel, it was Leah's line that would have a lasting spiritual legacy. Emotional growth and recognition of Jehovah. Leah named her children in ways that reflected her spiritual growth and the emotional struggles she endured. With each birth, she expressed how she hoped her husband would become attached to her, or how she praised Jehovah for noticing her predicament. Over time, Leah's expressions suggest she increasingly recognized Jehovah's hand in her life. By the time she bore her fourth son, Judah, Leah's naming choice, "This time I will praise Jehovah," Genesis chapter 29 verse 35, showed that she shifted some focus away from merely seeking Jacob's affection and more toward appreciating Jehovah's care. Jehovah's Witnesses, in their discourses, often emphasize this as a valuable lesson. Even when human relationships disappoint, one can still find solace and hope in a relationship with God. Later life and lasting honor. While the Bible does not provide every detail of Leah's later life, it does record that she was buried in the family tomb at Machpelah, where Abraham and Sarah, as well as Isaac and Rebekah, were laid to rest. Genesis chapter 49 verses 29 to 32. Notably, Jacob requested to be buried there as well. Rachel, whom Jacob adored, was buried elsewhere near Bethlehem. Jehovah's Witnesses find this significant. Leah eventually was honored as a family matriarch, placed in the same ancestral tomb as the patriarchs and their wives. This arrangement can be viewed as a subtle yet meaningful acknowledgement of Leah's role and dignity within the family line. Her resting place alongside Israel's patriarchs is a quiet testimony to the importance she held in God's purpose. Even though her marriage began through deceit and she spent her life in the shadow of her sister. Lessons in faith and endurance. Jehovah's Witnesses consider the account of Leah to be a powerful reminder that Jehovah notices the suffering and struggles of loyal individuals. Leah never abandoned her place in Jacob's family or turned away from serving Jehovah, despite the emotional challenges she faced. In their literature, the witnesses often use Leah's story as a means to encourage individuals who feel unappreciated, unloved, or overshadowed. It emphasizes that God's approval and care are not determined by outward beauty, human favoritism, or immediate circumstances. Rather, faith, endurance, and trust in God's purpose lead to lasting blessings. Harmony with Bible themes. Within the broader tapestry of Scripture, Leah's life aligns